What you're about to hear is a dramatized encounter, adapted from an actual conversation with a historically grounded mining persona. This exchange explores how coal miners in the 1880s were actually paid.
Collier sees precious little of what he's truly earned, and what he does see has been picked at from every direction. The way of it is this. I'm paid by the ton of coal I cut and haul out. Sounds straightforward enough. You work, you get paid for what leaves the pit. But between the seam and my hand, there's a dozen men taking their piece. The coal I cut has to be loaded into corves by the putters, young lads and women mostly, and they're paid separate from my earnings. Then's the timber I use for props, the candles for my lamp, sometimes even the wear on my tools. All of it comes from what I've earned. The pit master calls it deductions. Fair reckoning, they say. But when you're cutting coal in a seam that's barely 3 feet high, working 12 hours or more in dust and foul air, half of what you've laboured for goes to pay for the very things that keep the roof from crushing you. Fairness is a thin word, Bach. Then's the checkweir, or the lack of him. If there's a proper independent man weighing what comes out, we get a fairer count. But in some pits, the master's own man does the weighing, and I've known coal to be marked light when it's solid. A man can argue, but arguing doesn't put bread on the table. And some weeks, this is the bitterness of it, some weeks there's no steady pay at all. Accidents shut a pit for days. Bad air forces us out. The seam runs thin or wet. The machinery breaks. We don't get paid for standing idle, you understand. A collier has no wage unless he's cutting coal. In a good week, a steady man might see 30 shillings. In a lean week, 10 or less. My Catherine, my wife, she has to stretch that like a length of cloth. And there's no stretching cloth that thin across a family without something tearing. Is that the truth you came to hear?
What stayed with me in this particular exchange, it was the numbers that William actually reached for. 30 shillings in a good week, 10 shillings in a lean week. If you're curious about how these exchanges are actually generated, what's inferred, what's verified, why I bring certain moments into this sort of format, we've created a Creators Corner, a playlist. You're welcome to come across and have a look at how we do it all. For now, thank you for listening and for spending some time inside William's world.